And she's just Mrs. Disclosure, isn't she? Can Slick Willie get the mojo back for the Democrats? Let's ask Tim Carney. He's a senior political columnist for the Washington Examiner, and he joins me in person, in the flesh, right now. So Bill Clinton made that claim there that Hillary is actually healthier than Donald Trump. What exactly does he base that on?
Well, we have no idea, and the point that he made is a valid point. Hillary Clinton is the least transparent nominee we've had in decades, and tied with Donald Trump for that distinction. That Donald Trump is the only person who could run against Hillary for whom the transparency attack might not work, because he hasn't released his taxes. He has this bizarre little one-page medical note from a doctor that sounds like it was ghostwritten by Donald Trump, frankly. And so Hillary's
they do write in the same voice, don't they?
Hillary's consistent sort of opacity would be damning if she were running against a normal candidate. And that Trump, though, he's been just as opaque as her. So that, in that regard, Bill Clinton's making a serious point. And
they both promised to release more campaign records. Donald Trump, of course, going on the Dr. Oz show, as you do.
He's a reality TV
yeah, exactly
host,
right. Hillary Clinton says that she's going to release more documents this week. She's got to release some sort of a neurological exam. I mean, there's so much more to be known about the state of her health. And the one thing that I would say is, we haven't seen Donald Trump yet collapse or given to this series of coughing fits, which, of course, only feeds the whole argument that perhaps she's hiding something, especially when her husband comes out the next day and says, oh, she was just dehydrated, and completely minimizes what people now see as a greater issue.
She always is hiding something. You can talk to reporters who say, you know, the world will end if Donald Trump is elected president, but what they will all admit, reporters in D.C., is Hillary Clinton is always hiding something. Is it paranoia? Does she have something real to hide? I always tend to think it's a matter of both. When you look at the emails and the health stuff and everything, where the story's constantly changing, and so every time she gives us something, if she's a president for 4 years, every explanation of something that happened or will happen, we have to say, is there going to be a totally different explanation 24 hours from now? And that, I mean, that's going to be exhausting. Or
it's going to be through complete coercion, you know, through force, that she'll have to reveal this stuff. Why would you want to be in the public eye? If you value your privacy so much, and I actually admire that. If privacy is so important to you, why would you put yourself out there?
Well, and I think she thinks it's sort of an earned privacy. That, well, you know, the reason we have you see people like Matt Iglesias at Vox write these articles, well, we don't need transparency. And what you can tell they mean is transparency laws are there for sort of the crooked, corrupt people, but the people who are real competent, well, they should be allowed to do whatever they want behind closed doors.
And free speech is really only for people who say nice things. That's the exact same logic. It's interesting, you know, the president also said that the First Lady frequently has these fainting spells because of dehydration. Then he tried to change it to barely. CBS News edited that out, which I thought was a little dubious.
Well, and she should drink more water. I'm not a doctor, but everybody should drink water.
Of course. If you fainted before because you haven't been drinking enough water, then drink more water.
No, and you want a president to be robust and healthy, but on the other hand, it's not the most. One of the sort of libertarian points I make is, well, the liberals are the ones who really need the robust and healthy guy or woman because they're doing so much. But if a president was actually doing what the president's job is over a federal government, that the federal government is doing only what the Constitution prescribes, well, we could have a president who just knows to veto the unconstitutional laws, sign the constitutional ones, and declare war once every 4 years.
We might have just that, Tim Carney, because Libertarian presidential candidate Gary Johnson reportedly just snagged his second daily newspaper endorsement. Believe it or not, that actually puts him 2 endorsements ahead of Donald Trump, who by our account has 0 endorsements from daily newspapers. Trump does have a few weeklies, though, including from one that his son-in-law owns, which is great. Now, Clinton has more than everybody, but the Winston-Salem Journal said Johnson is a challenge to the status quo, and they hope that he's able to enter the debates. Are we entering a time frame now where perhaps these publications will, in fact, endorse the Libertarian because they want him on that stage because of the lack of transparency and some of the other claims that you've made about both candidates?
And first, I love that we care about print media still. I'm a print media guy. I love this talking about daily newspapers. Yes, it's obvious that the Republic would be well served by Gary Johnson being on the debates. I'm a guy who's not even sold on Johnson. I have problems with with his religious liberty arguments or his religious, you know, illiberty arguments, but it's obvious that he should be on that stage. And I think that to the degree that the media still does care about sort of open debate and democracy and the republic, I think a lot of people see it exactly that way, that you've got these two deeply flawed candidates. Getting at least a third voice on there is immensely valuable. Upending
the establishment and also holding them both to task for, if no other reason, than spending accountability, which, you know, we will see if both of these candidates who want to continue and expand spending in military and entitlements, if someone will pull out a calculator, one of these debate moderators, and say, oh, actually,
just draw a little graph. Here's the income, here's the spending, here's the income, and
that's the real hockey stick graph.
Yes.
All right, Tim Carney, thanks so much.
Thank you.
Nice to see you. Right here in New York City.